People come to my wife and say, is he really that funny in real life? And she'll say, he's not funny at all. He's a moron. And then after he's done something moronic, he writes about it accurately, and that's funny to you. But it didn't happen to you. He didn't fall through your ceiling. He didn't hit your child in the head with a ceiling fan. So that's not what funny is. It was something that's been a dream of mine to have a book. I think that's true of most writers, and it was interesting that the way it worked out, she had a gap in her publication schedule, and it was sort of, all right, we can either get this done Wednesday or in 2010. And I'm not a delayed gratification kind of guy. I'm like, why not Tuesday? My sister will ask me, because I have friends that write movies. I grew up with people who are in TV, and she'll say, you should write that stuff. And I don't know how to tell people who don't write, and maybe it's different for other people. But I'm not really in charge of what I write. I try to be, and I think I am, but when I sit down, what comes out is what comes out. It's what's in my head. You know, obviously I would have written the Da Vinci Code if it was really up to me, but originally from Hightstown, Princeton, New Jersey. I was there until I was 6, and then South Carolina till I was 13. I was shipped off to boarding school when I was 13. I got kicked out of boarding school. I was shipped off to college when I was 15 because I had gotten semi-kicked out of the local high school. And I did not get kicked out of college, but, well, they didn't ask me to leave. They weren't concerned with whether I stayed either, though. And ended up going to college when I was really young, based strictly on my test scores. And eventually, after 3 stops and I guess 10 years, achieved a 2-year Associate of Arts degree. So that's the level of I'm largely self-educated. If I say that, it upsets my mother. You say you're largely self-educated, but we spent $250,000 for you to not get educated elsewhere. I wrote one about a tenant I had. We owned a home in Greenville, and we had a terrible time getting this guy out. He just wouldn't leave. And it's harder than you would think to force him, and he thought I was being mean because I wanted him to pay rent every month. And he had a totally different worldview than me. He's like, you know I'm gonna pay you. I'm paying a mortgage on this place. I'm like, do you want me to go to the banker and say, you know Sylvester's gonna pay me, y'all? If my ego, oh, everybody reads me every day. They keep a diary of what they read of me. They know how old Quinn is, they know what Angela's been wearing. Yeah, that's the inner little me, that I'm the most important person in the world. Because to me, this is my movie. You know, to you, this is your movie and I'm an extra, but to me, this is my movie. You missed a Sunday afternoon nap.
I did too.
Really?
Yes, I did.
See, if you'd really if you'd realized the tenor of how I was going to speak, you could have realized you could have knocked out both at the same time. The reason I say I think people read me sporadically or occasionally or when it crosses their minds, people will be like, man, I love your column. When's it in the paper? How many times a week do you, I read you all the time. How many times? 3 times a week? I know, it just feels like 3 times a week if you have to read through it. When you've been at 7 papers in 9 years, you're like, I don't even know who the mayor is, what I'm writing about. And the best columns, the funniest ones, are the ones that are literally just a rant. The humor ones, if you could have just recorded me for 550 words spewing, and that's, to me, the funniest column. Those are also the ones where we get letters saying, why is this man allowed to survive in society? I wrote one like that about road rage. That was nothing but the 550 words that go through my head when I'm experiencing road rage. I thought it was the funniest thing I've ever written, and the ladies were writing in from all over the community saying, this is just filth. This man is murderous, he should be stopped. And my dad was a newspaper column junkie, and I grew up with he got the collections every year. So it was Royko, was the big thing, and Buchwald, P.J. O'Rourke, and then nobody, I don't care what anybody says, you cannot be my age and be trying to write anything humorous and claim you are not influenced by Dave Barry, who won a Pulitzer Prize and never even tried to pretend any of it was serious, just straight out funny. Now I'm not that way. I don't write booger columns usually, or at least I don't publish them in the newspaper. Thank you so much for saying that though, because I hope I don't write about my family. I hope I write about our family.